Scott, I'd like us to talk about the term training. What are your thoughts on training in the Good Place organization?
Yeah, sure. And I like to use a phrase for that section: training, education, and development. Training is learning that's related directly to your work responsibilities. Education is learning outside of work-specific responsibilities. And development is for who you are as an individual. So education would be a component of development, but there could be more to development than only education. One of the key concepts, again, is based on the understanding that work is a means of grace, the purpose of which is to give people opportunity and encouragement to grow and develop. In standard business culture, you do as much training / as little training as possible / as necessary to ensure that you can get the best profit, best return on shareholder investment in the business. We take a different look at it. The purpose for the business existing is to give people the opportunity and encouragement to grow and develop. And if that's the purpose of our work, then training, education, and development have a whole different level of priority, and you'll give it a different budget of time and other resources to make sure it happens. I'd like to start with the T, training. You're bringing them into an organization, so it is the responsibility of the leaders in the organization to give that person the best training to understand how to do their work, very full training. It's very typical to just sort of slapdash, here's a few things you need to know, figure out the rest, talk to somebody else that works beside you who's figured it out. We want to make people experts in the work that they do.
So training is really the grammar of the job you were hired in. It's like, here are the nuts and bolts, here's the wrench you use, here's how we do it here. It's very specific, maybe perhaps technical in that sense.
Yes, that's the category. And in a Good Place organization, the application of that is you want to give them all the tools and knowledge you can so that the work they do can be done with excellence, which builds up who they are. Mm-hmm. It also serves the other people in the organization. It also serves the customers of the organization well. It also serves the communities.
You mentioned earlier that sometimes it's slapdash. So what do you mean by that? Are you saying that a Good Place organization should be more aware of the way training needs to be done and maybe articulate it, write it down, write the process down?
In a typical business setting, and I've heard this from people who are corporate trainers for decades, the last thing that the company wants to put extra money in the budget in is training. And the first thing they cut, if there's any financial difficulties, is training. So it's a very myopic, short-sighted, limited understanding of the value that people bring to an organization, and just the fact that the people are the value of the organization.
So, these trainers, many times a business will outsource this and call in a group to come in and train, especially for, say, leadership qualities or communication qualities. And sometimes this group comes in for 3 days, 4 days, and it's sort of like, here we are, let's get it done, and then we're leaving. And here's your certificate at the end. How much does that actually improve someone? Does it stick? Should training, maybe it's better if you have mentors on the job that are constantly working with the people that are under them. What do you think about this?
Mentoring is definitely a hugely impactful training strategy, both for the mentor and the mentee. You never learn something so well as when you need to teach it, and so it really solidifies that in the mentor. I would love to talk about training for hours and hours and hours, and often I do. The key part to remember is the purpose of the organization. It's a means. God creates work for the purpose of building us up. There's also a requirement that in Genesis, after the fall, we have to work hard just to have enough food to live. And so that's a component of it too. So I understand efficiency. Efficiency is an important value. When an organization makes efficiency its number one value, efficiency at generating a return on shareholder investment, you violate the purpose for work. You tend to. And bringing somebody in, having them go through a 3-day deal and giving them a certificate, to me that's often just box checking.
Now, when you say you violate the purpose of work, you mean the godly purpose for work of building?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So about this box checking, it just doesn't cut it.
Right. Okay. We told them that they should have got something out of it.
Yeah.
What do people need to know and learn and do, and how do you know if they've learned that?
Mm-hmm.
And just to mention one in particular, the Kirkpatrick evaluation of learning levels is a great tool to apply to has the person, can they repeat back what they heard? Can they demonstrate they understand it? Can it be observed that they're engaged in the behavior that you tried to change? And then can you observe that that behavior is effective at achieving the outcome that you want to? And when you just have somebody sit through an outside seminar for 3 days and they got a certificate and you check the box, we've talked about internal communication. You don't know any of the answers to any of those questions.
Mm-hmm. So how about education? How is this different from training?
So training is work specific, job specific. Education is learning outside of that. Mm-hmm. Why would an organization help you engage in learning that doesn't apply directly to your job? Well, because that's what they're stewards of. They're stewards of you as a person. They are taking up all of your work time, presumably, if you got a full-time job. And what can they bring into your life that will build you up? Continuing education, lifelong, is good for the individual, and that's good for the organization. So it's a huge value. W. Edwards Deming, the business guru that I identify with most and have learned the most from, I feel is beneficial, talked about how a company said, well, we'll reimburse you for college courses that you take that apply to your work here. And somebody came to him and said, hey, I was wanting to take a course on ancient Egyptian history, and they denied it because they said it didn't have anything to do with my job here. And Deming shook his head and he says, the lack of understanding. The ancient Egyptians have so much to train us, to teach us on how to organize a business.
So there's definitely a sense where someone has to develop a broader appreciation of what general thinking skills with content like literature and history and philosophy and music and movies and civilization, this general learning, the liberal arts, if you will.
I was going to say you can easily characterize that as a liberal arts education versus a narrowly technical education.
Right. And when you have both, when you have the grammar of the job, the technical aspect, and then you have this much broader mental room, if you will, that specific information lives and operates in, there can be some great connections, unique observations, very powerful articulation, communication that happens, very rounded, and what I call multidimensional thinking, because you're able to see something from different angles and also imagine it from different audiences and different time periods. So now what about the development part?
So development is just who you are as a person, life skills, relationship skills.
So if someone says, hey, I've got a lot of training, I've got a lot of education through the company, now I want to do something with it. I want to become X, Y, or Z.
Well, so that would be sort of career pathing,
I see.
Which goes along with in the development of people, a category. But just any, I can get way off on a tangent here. That the Industrial Revolution massively increased the productivity of human labor. I've lived through the electronic revolution, the computer revolution, and we're in the middle of the AI revolution now. All these things can make human labor more and more productive. What do we do with that productivity? I'm thinking we should be able to have shorter work weeks and engage in more development type of activities. How many people have full-time jobs who love to paint, love to write poetry, love to write novels, like to make films, like to get involved in the community and tutor kids, like to work with people recovering from addictions. Those are things that develop you and improve the community, which is one of the aims of a good place organization. And all of these things, the significant training specifically in your job, a broad acceptance of education that's unrelated to specific tasks, development activities in people's lives. As you invest in them, they become more and more fully human, and the organization benefits from that, your customers benefit from that, and the larger community benefits from that.
So a good place organization is going to say, look, we obviously need money to stay in business. We need to pay the bills. We need to pay salaries. This is all good. But we're more than just that. We are a community of people that need to grow and need to have support and love. And my job as, let's say a CEO is to make sure that this company is not about stockpiling wealth. It's about making it and then turning around and saying, now let's grow these people.
Amen. Yes. When I see somebody buy something very expensive that's very ugly, it's like, what is your money worth if all you can do is buy something ugly with it? What is the business worth if you can't provide this opportunity for human flourishing and the people who commit their entire work life to you?
So in short, you have to care about a lot of things, but you really have to care about people the most. You can't sit there and care about money or profits or the quarterly report the most.
The more you care about your people and demonstrate that through giving them opportunities and encouragement to grow and develop, the better off your business is going to be. It's not that I got this sneaky plan to be a very successful business. I'm going to develop my people. You develop it because it's the right thing to do, because it's good, and that good thing brings all kinds of benefits.
Great. So just in closing, we've been talking about training, and we've given it a capital T as one of those 10 terms. But under the capital T training title, we have the small letter training, which is the specific job information, education and development, the TED, the TED part of training with a capital T.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Scott.